Hey everybody, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, it's New Year's Day and I have got the DJI Mini 2 today. It is a cold and blustery day, but we had some firmware updates at the end of December, and I just did a video with the Mavic Air 2 demonstrating part of it, so I figured we'd get the Mini 2 up there as well and take a look at that. And let me get my phone out. We can take a look at what those updates were. With the Mini 2, I guess they're saying that it improves overall stability, and I think they mean by that the stability of the firmware, not necessarily the drone, because they talk about that in a different spot here. But I guess the big feature, the two biggest features are it adds zoom and photo mode, which is pretty cool. We'll try that out. We'll fly out and look at the Boise front and look up at the ski resort up there, and we'll take a couple pictures zoomed out and zoomed in. If you want to shoot in higher frame rates in 2.7K, you can now. You can shoot in 48, 50, and 60 frames per second. It says it optimized the Wi-Fi Bluetooth connectivity for faster, more stable connection. Can't argue with that, right? And it increased, this is what I was talking about earlier, it increased flight stability in some scenarios. And then this is something that I would never have noticed. It fixes an issue with abnormal color in panoramic DNG photos. Number one, I'm not a big photo editor, so I don't typically shoot in DNG. And according to this, it's in the panorama photos only. And then it fixed a rare issue, abnormal texture in the upper left corner of 4K videos. Now, that was really odd, and I had a couple of commenters point that out to me on my own videos with the Mini 2. If you looked up when you were shooting in 4K, in the very top left-hand part of the screen, you would see a little orange line up there, and sure enough, it was there. It's not anything I'd ever noticed because it was right at the top, but evidently DJI fixed it. So it is also saying that the added features require the new Fly App version 1.2.2, and it sounds like for Android users, you're going to have to go to the DJI website to download their latest version. I don't know why that is, but it's just kind of interesting. So in any case, let's quit messing around and let's get this bird in the air, and we'll take a look. We're going to for sure take a look at the zoom, and I don't know, we're just going to fly this baby around and have fun with it. Hey, so we're also going to take a look at the Fly App and take a look at that new feature that they added with the radar, that you can replace the map with this radar, and it tells you the attitude of your drone. In other words, whether you're pitched forward or pitched back or banked left or banked right. It also tells you the direction you're pointing with your remote, and it tells you that the direction that the drone is pointing. So it's a pretty cool feature. So we'll take a look at that too. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. So it's telling us that takeoff is permitted, but let's go into the safety menu here and look things over real quick. So we've got the return to home altitude set at 100 meters. We don't need it that high. Let's bring it back down to, I think I've got it 70 on my Mavic Air 2, so we'll put that at 70. Looks like this stuff got reset, so let's kick that up. So compass is normal, IMU is normal. I'm sure after I did that firmware update, it probably reset all those return to home heights. We can look at the battery info here real quick. Yeah, both cells 4.22 volts, so we're looking good there. Yeah, I'd say we're probably good to go here. Let's go into the camera, and we're on 4K, 30 frames per second. That's where I like to shoot. So, so let's go ahead and start recording now. And gosh, I don't see any reason why we can't take off. So let me get out of the way so you can see the drone. And we're hitting takeoff on the app. And nice smooth little takeoff. Let's turn it around and bring it in. This guy doesn't have any obstacle avoidance, so I can bring it in pretty darn close. to us here. Let's bring it right on in. There we go. There's that little drone. Pretty cool little drone. Let's jag it back and forth so you can see that gimbal in action. You can see it moving side to side there. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to drop the gimbal down here a little bit. And we're going to do our usual initial droney. So reverse and up now. And you know, I'm seeing a little wiggle on the screen here. So what you guys didn't see is when I took off initially, when I first fired up the drone, I had a stuck gimbal error. So clearly there's something going on with the gimbal. Let's bring it back here and restart the drone and see what's going on, because boy, that thing's really wiggling around. So I'm going to hit return to home. And it's going to ascend to its 70-meter altitude. I should have thought better of that. And there's those that they added to the app, those helpful hints, and that is so distracting. While it's doing that, let's bring up the radar. So there's the radar, and you can tell that the drone's tilted forward. See those arrows up from the center line? And then as soon as it reaches, comes to a stop, they come back down. And in fact, it banked, or it pitched back a little bit. Yeah, gimbal motor overloaded, it says. So we're going to bring her down, and we're going to cycle that thing and start over. Like I said, I had a gimbal stuck when I first fired up the drone. I had a gimbal stuck come up on the screen. So I just kind of wiggled the gimbal a little bit with my finger, and then it showed as okay, but clearly there's something wrong. So we're gonna reboot the thing and go from there. And in fact, it's way off of the landing zone here, so I'm going to cancel that return to home, and we're just going to land it manually. Bring it on in here. And bring her down. So let me cycle the drone on and off, and in fact we'll cycle everything. I'm going to shut down the app and everything. Let's stop recording. I'm going to shut down the app, shut down the controller. Yeah, we're getting that gimbal stuck again. Huh. Well, that's interesting. That's very un-DJI-like. So what we're going to do is I'm going to shut the drone off. I'm going to hold it right in front of the camera here. Shut it down. And then let's, you know, the drone, well, I did feel something there a little bit. You know, when I went down a little bit, I did feel a little bit of a obstruction. Let's try it one more time. Let's fire it up right here. Take off with caution, so it looks like we're good to go. Well, that was interesting. So go ahead, let's start recording again here, and let's go ahead and we're going to do an auto takeoff. And so far so good. Okay, we're going to bring the drone in again like we did before. Like I said, this guy has, I almost brought it a little too close there. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so let's get it right in front of the camera here. We can come a little closer. That's what's cool about DJI drones, is you're so comfortable doing things like this. So, and we got a wind coming up, but it's doing just fine. Let's move it over a little bit. And you can see that gimbal in action. Okay, we're gonna do, I'm gonna drop the gimbal, and we are gonna do a reverse and up now. So, and I'm staring this drone right in the face, folks. So reverse and up now. And you saw as the wind came up, you saw that drone adjusting. Pretty cool. DJI just does an amazing job. So okay, let's get that rule of thirds. And let's turn around, and we're going to go over the top of the school over here, and we're going to try out that zoom while in photo mode. Grab some altitude. And the drone, you know, the wind is picked up. I did another UAV forecast, and the wind is definitely, it says sustained 7 with 14-mile-an-hour gusts. And let me tell you, it's all of that, if not more. And you'd never know it flying this little guy. Really, really amazing that DJI built this kind of capabilities in this drone. And I want you to pay attention. So you're looking at the screen here. Let's go up just a little bit. And look at how tilted that drone is. If we look at the radar in the bottom left corner, the drone is tilted into the wind there. So the gimbal is giving us a straight picture, but the drone is at a pretty good tilt there. So let's, I'm going to pick up the gimbal just a little bit, and then we're going to stop recording, and we're going to go into photo mode. And single photos here, and let's see if we can make that zoom work. So this is 1x, so we're just going to take a picture in just the 1x here. So there's a picture, and then if we click on that 1x on the screen, it'll go to 2x, and there's the zoom. So that's what we're looking for, and there it is. And then again, just like with the Mavic Air 2, you can hold down the function button and zoom back out with the scroll wheel. So you can do that either way. I like that because you can smoothly zoom. So that works, and it works great. So let's go ahead and go back into video mode. And we're going to click on video, and you're going to see what they added to 2.7K. So before, I believe 2.7K just stopped at 30 frames per second. Now we have 48, 50, and 60. So let's just go ahead and do a little 2.7K 60 frames per second, and we'll just do the rest of this video in 2.7K. And yeah, let's we got plenty of battery here. Let's pick this guy up. Let's go for a little flight. Boy, it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, you see the snow on the mountains there. And again, we could zoom into that too. If I hold down the function button, zoom in. Yeah, and I forgot about that. In 2.7K, we're actually getting more zoom. Wow, okay. So let me pick the gimbal up just a little bit. And what you're looking at there is, again, is the ski resort, the Bogus Basin Ski Resort that's right above downtown Boise. Pretty darn cool. Okay, let's zoom back out to normal view. I forgot that you get 3 times zoom in 2.7K, so that's a good reason to shoot in 2.7K sometimes. Okay, let's go ahead and let's turn around here and let's get some different shots. Boy, I'll tell you, this is, like I said, it's New Year's Day, and yesterday we literally had snow flurries all day long. And today it kind of cleared up. We had some sun out for a while, and that's when I decided to go fly, because it was looking like, oh, okay, we got some sun, let's go fly, right? Well, not so fast there, because it sure, the clouds came over, and man, oh man, is it cold. My fingers are freezing. And again, I want you to take a look at that, that radar down in the bottom left corner, and watch when I let off the stick. I'll let off now, and boy, you saw those 2 lines drop, and then they came back up towards the center. So when I let off the stick, it actually put on the brakes, and it pitched backwards instead of forwards. So again, let's go to our left here, or the drone's left. and you can see the drone bank a little bit to the left. And of course, I'm doing that with the yaw stick. Let's move to the side and see what happens. Yeah, so I'm hitting sideways on the right stick, and you can see it's banking to the right. And I'm going to let off now, and boom, it banks a little bit to the left, kind of puts on the brakes. So now I'm going to pitch forward. So I'm going to hit forward, and you will see those lines raise up here. So pitching forward, and look at those lines raise up, and that's the drone pitching up. And of course, you don't see it because the gimbal on the drone is keeping a stable picture. So that'll tell you how hard that gimbal works. Okay, so let's bank at the same time and yaw. And I am full bank and full pitch. And you can see what it's doing there and yawing. So pretty cool. Now I'm banking the other way. Okay, so let's go. In fact, let's really show this. Let's put it in sport mode here. So we threw it in sport mode. So watch this. We are going to go full forward now in sport mode, and it's funny. You can see there's enough wind up there that the drone is actually banked to its right, but it's still keeping a level picture for us. So in sport mode, full forward, and we will look at that pitch thing go very high. Yeah, and look at that, clear to the top. Flight angle is larger in the gimbal. Yeah, so it's warning us about gimbal issues, and we all know that. And there it goes. Now watch when I let off, and full reverse, full reverse. I went full back, and then you see the same thing. So that's in sport mode. So that tells you what that radar will do for you. So I let off the sticks there, and it's just in a hover mode right now, but still it's banked because of the wind. So then also you can see the direction that the drone is pointed to. So I'm going to yaw to the left. And you can see the direction of it points to the north there. So we're pointed due north right now. And if you wanted to find your home point, it's got it there. So I could then move back around where I see that the point of the diamond pointed towards the home point, and I could come back home. So for instance, if some reason you lost FPV well, I guess if you lost FPV, you might not have this either, but you could fly the drone home. So if you lose orientation that way. So gosh, let's go down here. We might as well try. We've got enough battery left. You know me, I hate to waste any battery. So let's take a look at our world famous. I'm in sport mode. I forgot here. Let's go back to normal mode. Let's see if we can do a quick orbit around the cell phone tower while we got battery. So I'm stopping recording now. Going into quick shots and circle. And let's see if it'll grab that. We'll see if it'll grab that. It might, because it's kind of looking at the ground, but let's go ahead and start here. And it's counting down. And then this, because I didn't change the video format, this will be in 1080p. And it's started its circle. Yeah, it's got it. It's doing just fine. You know, I just love that they build that kind of intelligence into these drones. Yeah, and it's holding the, it's still got the cell phone tower as the point of interest. I see it is kind of moving off to the left a little bit, and look at that, point of interest is getting bigger. And there, it looks like it lost it. So yeah, at least the square has lost it. It's still looking at the cell phone tower though. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So, you know, it definitely lost the point of interest there. And so I don't know exactly what happened there, but we're still getting a good picture with the cell phone the head of the cell phone tower, kind of generally in the center of the screen. So we're almost done here. Boom. Okay, so let's do something else here. I'm going to bring this guy down a little lower and in. Let's get a little lower yet. And we're going to go, let me see if I can do a quick helix here. So we're going to do a helix. We'll just do a 35 meter helix. And I'm going to draw, again, that point of interest around the head of the cell phone tower. We're going to click Start. And the drone will raise an altitude and move away from it as it goes. And it's doing it. Seems to be holding it a little better this time. We're moving off just a little bit. And again, you can look at the radar and you can see what that drone is doing to accomplish this, how the pitch of the drone is. To me, that's just endlessly fascinating. And also, when you're doing these quick shots, if you look at the circle, the red circle, there's a white progress line that goes around it that tells you the percentage that it's through its whatever quick shot that it's doing. There's the low battery return to home warning. So as soon as it finishes this quick shot, we'll let it do that. And it should, I believe, it will return to its home point. Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. So let's let it return to where it started. I saw a little bit of gimbal wiggle there again. But we've got, you know, like I said, we've got some wind too. And there, it's there. So, okay, we're going to go back into video mode. And I'm going to go back to 4K, 30 frames per second, start video. And boy, this baby wants to come home. Let's do a return to home. And while this guy does not have precision landing, let's just see how close it can get. And it is rising to its return to home altitude, should be 70 meters. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to figure out a way to shut off those tips that are on the screen, those things that are scrolling by. Okay, so it should be coming down here. Let's drop the gimbal down and see how close we are. Yeah, it's right on the edge of the curb there. I don't like that. We'll see if it moves a little bit. Okay, I canceled that. And let's move it forward here. Pick that camera back up, and down we go. Critically low battery. We're down to 10% battery. Okay, and again, you always want to remember to stop recording so you don't get a corrupted file. Let me get everything shut down and put some gloves on because my fingers are cold, and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay guys, the DJI Mini 2. So we demonstrated some of the things that came with the new firmware upgrade. The 2.7K video that you can shoot up to 60 frames per second. And we showed that you could zoom in photo mode. The thing that I'd forgotten about, in 2.7K when you're shooting video, you can zoom up to 3x rather than the 2x that I'm used to just with 4K. So that's kind of cool too. We also took a look at that new radar feature that's on the updated version of the DJI Fly App. Pretty cool. I love that you can see the pitch and the roll of your drone when it's flying around. So what a remarkable little drone, this guy, that it can do the things you can do. Flying on a day-to-day, it's pretty windy today and cold, and the drone performed just fine. We did have that little gimbal issue at the start. There must have been something in the gimbal motors there, because I did feel a little obstruction, and I was able to get it free, and it was fine there once we figured that out. But these little gimbals, particularly I've noticed on the minis, are very sensitive to dust. I'm not sure I would go in there with a can of air or anything, but if you've got like one of those photography brushes that you can gently spray some air around there and keep those motors clean, I think that's probably a good idea. But anyway, even as cold and blustery as it was, I had fun flying today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one.